When the government of Saddam Hussein fell in mid-2003, much of Iraqi society collapsed with it. At the height of the insurgency in 2007, unemployment was running at about 25%. Since then, some order has been restored, but finding work remains an enormous challenge. Tony Cheng reports.
Dawn breaks over Liberation Square in Baghdad. But these men have already been waiting for several hours. Many have come from all over Iraq to seek work in the capital. They're day labourers, casual workers looking for a day wage, and most will leave here disappointed.
We ask God to help us. We're optimistic about the future, but as you can see, there are no jobs and the youth are sitting at home doing nothing. We don't ask the government or anyone for help. God will take care of us.
After the US-led invasion, Iraq's economy ground to a halt. Millions of jobs in the state sector disappeared as the government fell apart in the chaos that followed. Rising food prices and accommodation have put even more pressure on the unemployed, and state benefits have lost 2/3 of their value. And the grim security situation was highlighted when we met these two young men in the famous Shabnir Cafe. One had been kidnapped the month before. His bruises were still very visible. The price of freedom is $30,000, a huge price for an unemployed man.
I don't have any hope. I've looked very hard to find a job, even with my relatives, but there was nothing at all.
While some peace and stability has returned to Baghdad, a new problem has raised its head. The public sector, on which so many rely for employment, is now riddled with corruption.
The problem is that the economy is still broken down, and still you don't have a private sector, you don't find even the foreign investment in the country still very weak. And what we need is the cycle of the development is really hit by the corruption. And this is one of the very big problems for us.
Those that can afford it are studying for the future. New private universities have sprung up across Iraq, preparing students for the time when the country can fully exploit its mineral wealth. But with unemployment running at 17%, competition amongst these graduates will be stiff. It's ironic that a country as rich in mineral wealth as Iraq can be so beset by economic problems. But until the security issues can be resolved and Iraq's politicians can work together, that mineral wealth is unlikely to generate any new jobs. Tony Cheng, CCTV, Iraq.